Kusha, what's up?
Hi, Sam. How's it going?
What's
I wanted to ask three questions. So I'm Coptic Orthodox. I believe in the Perpetual
I know I've
Virginity of
seen you
Mary.
5 million times, dude. Astaghfirullah.
Oh, sorry. I
Same.
believe in the Perpetual Virginity of Mary, but the
Oh,
only thing I don't understand is in the Bible, it says that when Angel Gabriel comes to Mary, she says, "How am I going to be pregnant? I do not know a man." But then later it says, Joseph did not know Mary until she gave birth to her firstborn son.
yeah,
So
that's Matthew 125, and you jumped to Luke 134. So you went to Luke, and then you went to Matthew.
yes.
So what do you have a problem with?
So it the I guess the word know her is implying sexual relation. So then when Joseph did not know Mary until she had birth with her firstborn son, it goes against my understanding of Mary's perpetual
So,
virginity, at least in my mind. I don't know.
so what happened after she gave birth?
She stayed a virgin.
Yeah, but you're saying that is confusing you. Why would it confuse you? Who told you
Just
that
oh,
if he
sorry.
did not know her until she gave birth, that means after she gave birth, now he knows her? Where does the text say that? Because if I say Jesus will be with you until the end of the age, so after the end of the age, he'll stop being with you?
Not know her time of age.
So Jesus
I
was
see.
will Jesus
Sorry.
stop being with you when the age ends? He goes, and lo, I am with you always till the end of the age. So when the age ends, he's going to stop being with you?
No, he's gonna be there.
No, but he says until the end of the age. Sorry, it doesn't say beyond that.
Okay, I thought the term know her in the New Testament implied
But what
sexual
makes you
relation.
assume that after she gave birth, he starts knowing her? You still didn't get it. So I thought
Oh, okay.
being with me means he's going to be with me. Okay, yeah, but he says he's only going to be with me until the end of the age. So after the end of the age, he's going to stop being with me?
Am I dumb for being confused? I'm sorry, I'm stupider than I look. Shoot, no.
Let's try this again, man.
I'm listening, promise.
Jesus said, and I'm with you until the end of the age. So when the age ends, will he be with us or is he going to stop being with us?
He's gonna be with us.
No, he says he's only going to be with us until the end of the age.
So how does this link to the verse about
You still don't get
Joseph knowing? Yeah, I'm
it.
so
What makes
lost.
you think that Joseph then started knowing her after she gave birth to Christ? Because you're saying he did not know her until she gave birth to her firstborn. So then you're saying then things change and then he starts knowing her sexually? Where does the text say that?
Oh, okay, I get it now. I'm sorry.
So it's like you telling me, well, Jesus says he will be with us until the end of the age. So that means when the age ends, he must stop being with us because he said he's going to be with us up until this point.
I get it now. I wasn't reading it carefully enough.
All right, so here's another one. 1 Corinthians 15, 24 to 28. Then comes the end when he hands over the kingdom to God the Father, when he's abolished all rule and all authority and power, for he must reign until he has put all his enemies under his feet. So how long is he going to reign?
Until he puts the enemies under his feet.
Okay, so then when the enemies are destroyed, he stops ruling, huh?
No.
No, but it says he will rule until they're destroyed. So that means after destroyed, he'll stop ruling?
No, definitely not.
What?
No, because obviously Christ is eternal.
No, man. It says until, bro. That means he'll stop ruling afterwards. So he's not going to rule anymore?
No, he's gonna rule. He's gonna rule.
No, but brother, it says until. So that means once they're destroyed, he will rule until then. Then afterwards, that means he stops?
No.
Ring my phone. You good? After we're done, we're going to play Tic-Tac-4, right? Tic-Tac-4. Connect 4. Can you get me my Coke Zero? You see, my daughters, they're a gift from Jesus Christ. They're beautiful. They make my
Thank God.
face look pretty. Thank God they look like me. right? They make my face look pretty and think Jesus, they look like me. Anyway, so what makes you assume that just because Matthew says Joseph did not know her until she gave birth, that means afterwards he starts knowing her? Matthew doesn't say that. He doesn't tell you what happens afterwards. He just says, know for certain that up until she gave birth, he never touched her. But he never says, but afterwards he started touching her.
Yeah.
So what I'm showing you is the way you're reading your Bible, you are going to create a lot of problems because it says Christ will be with us until the end of the age. So that means when the age ends, he'll stop being with us? No, the text doesn't say that the age ends and he stops. It's just assuring you he's with you till the end of the age, but not denying that once the age ends, he won't be with you anymore.
No, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Just like here, only a madman would say, Christ will only rule as king until he destroys his enemy. The last enemy is death. Once death is destroyed, that's all his enemies. And since he's only going to rule until his enemies destroyed, afterward, he stops ruling. We know that's nonsense because the Bible says Christ's kingdom is eternal and indestructible.
Can I ask one more question or two more?
Yeah, well, before you ask the question, are you understanding Matthew 1:25 does not tell us anything about what happened afterwards? All it shows is up until that point, he didn't touch her. But it doesn't tell us whether things changed afterwards, just like Jesus will be with us until the end of the age. But once the age ends, doesn't mean he'll stop being with us because the text is not addressing what happens beyond that point.
Yes, and I would never interpret this passage like that. I think I just got locked in on the terminology, so I zoned out.
And you know who used these arguments? To refute people like Protestant heretics like James White, who says, see, Matthew 1:25, you know who used these arguments to show you're stupid? Not you. The people are, you're stupid for assuming that Matthew 1:25 implies that once she gave birth, things changed and Joseph started knowing her. John Calvin. He called people like James White, Matt Slick, Anthony Rogers stupid and dishonest and just like to argue. John Calvin, here, I'll show it to you. You don't think, if you don't believe me, ask. He laughed at anyone who used Matthew 1:25 to show that Joseph had intimate relations with Mary after she gave birth. He goes, that's not what Matthew is saying, and that's reading too much into the Greek. Here. The Reformers affirmed the perpetual virginity of Mary. And they laughed at the arguments. In fact, it wasn't just John Calvin. Francis Turretin demolished these very objections that James White uses to show that Mary and Joseph were intimate after, right, she gave birth to Christ. They demolished these very arguments. And ironically, they're Protestant reformers. How far have these reformed heretics fallen from their ancestors? Right now, right here. Right, let me show you. What did John Calvin say for those who would misuse Matthew 1:25? So I did a session, John Calvin versus James White on limited atonement, and John Calvin versus James White on Mary's perpetual virginity. Because James White's a joke. He was making fun of Jerome and how bad his arguments are. But John Calvin said Jerome's arguments were solid, and the idiot is James White because he's following Helvidius, the heretic. Here. Right here, right? Let's go and see what he says about Matthew 1:25. Here it is. John Calvin. We're going to go to Calvin's commentary. You see it? Calvin's commentary. You with me? Capiche? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
Yes, sir.
You feel me?
Astaghfirullah.
Here. Look what John Calvin says. Look what John Calvin says to Anthony Rogers, who got caught quoting another forgery, humiliate himself because he should retire. Disappear. And what John Calvin would say to James White and Matt Slick and to that person that misinterrupted you. Who is that person right there?
It's my Baba. Sorry.
Oh, no, then your dad has priority. Not over your mother, though, unless he wants to sleep in the couch. Okay, watch here. The text. And knew her not. This passage afforded the pretext of great disturbances which were introduced in the church. Look, John Calvin said there were people that disturbed the church by misquoting this passage. Who? At a former period by Helvidius. If you guys don't know who Helvidius is, Helvidius was an Arian heretic who, as far as we know, was the first to deny Mary's perpetual virginity. There may have been others before him. Some would try to say Tertullian, but there is no conclusive proof Tertullian did. So that means James White, Anthony Rogers, Matt Slick, their spiritual father is this heretic Helvidius. Even John Calvin condemns them as heretics. In other words, he smacked the taste out of their mouths like Santa Claus did Arius. Helvidius, as far as we know, there probably were others before him, but we don't have their writings or their names. Jerome condemned Helvidius for misusing this passage. The inference he drew from it was that Mary remained a virgin no longer than till her first birth, and that afterwards she had other children by her husband. Jerome, on the other hand, earnestly and copiously defended Mary's perpetual virginity. And you know what? James White, that tool of Satan, mocks Jerome. He goes, it's one of the most pathetic, one of the worst defenses of Mary's perpetual virginity. You see the clown? And he goes, and we don't have Helvidius' writings. Who knows what he really wrote? This is how wicked of a son of Satan James White is. But John Calvin, his daddy, schools him. Look what John Calvin says to this reformed heretic. Let us rest satisfied with this, that no just and well-grounded inference can be drawn from these words of the evangelist as to what took place after the birth of Christ. He just told James White, Anthony Rogers, Matt Slick, shove it. You cannot use these words to tell us what happened afterwards. You can't assume that afterwards he had sex with her. He says you can't do that. That's John Calvin. Max, I'll bring you up. Just connect. I'll bring you up. You see? He is called firstborn. But why? Because she had other children? But it is for the sole purpose of informing us that he is born of a virgin. It is said that Joseph knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son. But this is limited to that very time. What took place afterwards, the historian does not inform us. He doesn't say things changed. Such is well known to have been the practice of inspired writers. Now watch, what does he say about a James White, this son of Satan, who uses this to argue they had sex? Because he's dirty, like Anthony Rogers, who quoted a forgery to attack the Perpetual Virginity of Mary because they're dogs of Satan, brethren. And you get angry at me when they want to dishonor the Holy Mother. When even their spiritual ancestors, John Calvin, a tool of Satan, would condemn them. Certainly, no man, look, will ever raise a question on this subject except from curiosity. In other words, he's saying, if you really know your Bible and you know how to interpret it, you will never use this to question whether afterwards Joseph and Mary had sex, because Matthew doesn't address it. And no man will obstinately keep up the argument except from an extreme fondness for disputation. This is a picture perfect description of James White, a man known for debating, because that's all he has, because he sucks. So what did he just say? The only ones who will insist this proves that Joseph and Mary had sex are those who are fond of debating. He just condemned James White and smacked the taste out of his mouth.
True.
This is all in this article. And by the way, he's not the only one. Luther affirmed Mary was a perpetual virgin. Ulrich Zwingli affirmed Mary was a perpetual virgin. Francis Turton, another outstanding Reformed Protestant, to them, not to us, affirmed and defended Mary's perpetual virginity. Right? Even E.W. Bullinger. Here, John Wesley, and here, if you go here, I gave you the link. I have Francis Turretin on Mary's perpetual virginity. Your work, Zwingli. Here he goes. It's on my website as well. Francis Turretin. So here you go, guys. There it goes. And they even affirmed that Mary was kept pure and she's a treasure. And Luther even says about her, right? Next to Christ, she's the most cherished, beautiful gem given to the church. She is nobility, wisdom, holiness personified. We can never honor her enough next to Christ. That's Martin Luther. See that? All right, I don't know if that helped you.
No, that helped me a lot. Thank you so much. If you don't
I
mind,
answered this 10 million times, by the way, but nonetheless, even though that's not the topic, but you don't care. It's your world, dude. Squirrel. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Just quick question. Have you ever done a series on the Book of Revelations? I've never read it because I don't think I'm obviously biblically literate enough to read it.
No, I haven't done that because it's a dangerous book to misinterpret. Unless you want me to add more sins and more judgments, so God condemns me.
No, I don't. Okay, then this last question would be, if you don't mind, Leviticus talks about for the men not to shave the sides of their head. Is this just a ceremonial rule, or is any historical context to this?
Leviticus 19:27 and 28, right?
I believe so.
27, yeah, it talks about it. And then 28 as well. That's the context of not tattooing. And what's the context, mister? Do you read context, brother, or do I have to read it for you? But by the way, send me your laundry. I'll wash them for you too. Is that all right?
So sorry. No, it's not all right.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. When I
You
took
should not
notes,
mark off the side growth of your heads, nor harm the edges of your beard. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
And you shall not make any cuts in your body for the dead, nor make any tattoo marks on yourselves. I am Yahweh. What do you think the context is here?
Shaving the sides of the head, I don't know. I know that
What do you think the context is here?
maybe the idol worship.
It has to do with the practices of the pagans. So you don't imitate the pagans and their practices, which are done in submission to and service to their gods and goddesses, right?
Right.
So then why would that be applicable to us today?
I think I saw somewhere else that it talked about if a man wanted to make a covenant between God, like a temporary, like he would not cut his hair.
Numbers chapter 6. That's a Nazarite vice. You just answered your own question that in number 6, if you're going to make a vow to God, the Nazarite vow, then this vow entails you don't shave until the completion of the vow. How would this then stand in violation of this passage when it's talking about not doing something in imitation of pagan practices which are done in service of their gods and goddesses?
Okay.
Is this the educational system today? Is that what they're doing to the young people? Because my daughters are on their electronics all day, like 4, 5, 6 hours. Thankfully, now I got them into reading because they saw I have comic books. Now they're reading because, man, dude, brother, I just explained the context here is clear not to do what the pagans are doing. In fact, that's even Leviticus 18, that this is the things that pagans do. So God is marking out particular practices that pagans do in service to their gods and goddesses that he wants Israel to refrain from, to be different than them. And then you're saying, well, number 16, it says don't shave, because that context is about if you make a vow to God, then you don't shave. This context is talking about shaving in imitation of pagans who do things in service of gods and goddesses.
So no, I see it. I see it. No, I see it. I'm sorry. I need to pay more attention when I'm reading.
No.
For sure. It's because I read in the morning. That's the problem. I'm like half awake.
No, and so you're blaming your dad, and now you're blaming that you have to sleep here. Watch what he just says here. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses. This is the chapter previous. It gives you the context. of these commands. Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, I'm Yahweh your God. You shall not do according to what is done in the land of Egypt, where you live, nor are you to do according to what is done in the land of Canaan, where I'm bringing you. See? Don't do the practices of these pagan nations. And then he lists some of their abominable, gross sexual perversions that they are to avoid, and sacrificing their children to the god Molech, and then other things that mark out paganism. Avoid them. So do not defile yourselves by any of these things, for by all these the nations which I'm casting out before you have become defiled. And then when we go to the next chapter, it's continuing specific rules to distinguish Israel from the pagans. You okay? All right. Okay? You shall be holy. Why? Holy means to set apart. See, people don't know that the word kadosh and hagios means to set apart. Sanctify, set apart. Let me explain, set apart. You guys ready? Let me explain, set apart. Set apart, the word holy, set apart means God is going to set you apart so that you are different from the rest. If you guys don't believe me, look at any lexicon. Kadosh, hagios, Greek, means to set apart. Consecrate means you're going to take something, set it apart for a specific use. So here what God is saying is, I am set apart. You need to be set apart. Set apart from what? From the world, from the heathen, from paganism, from their acts. You're going to be set apart from them, consecrated to live differently in obedience to my commands. You got it now or no?
No, I got it. Sam, you answered all my questions. Thank you so much.
You sure?
God... No, you got everything.
Is it 2026 over there?
2026, not yet, in 4 hours.
Okay, now guys, we are speaking in the past to you. Him and I were in 2025. You over there, Mr. Hannah, everyone else, you are seeing us in the future. We're relaying this in the future. We're in the past. This is the past speaking to you in the future. We're warning you that when the future comes, you're going to see fireworks in the sky. We're letting you know before it happens. So when it happens, you'll know we are prophets sent by God. This is the past, 2025, and we're speaking to you in 2026. That's a miracle that this channel is from God. Okay, brother.
Sam, may the Lord focus on you. Thank you so much.
Pray. God bless you guys.
Take
care, brother. Those are your questions?
You answered all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Say hello to your dad.
Okay, no problem.
And tell him this is coming from the past to the future. Okay.
Okay, Sam. I love you. Bye.